This week on Podcast Demastered, we'll be talking about one of the most beloved video game series ever made, Kingdom Hearts. Whether you're a diehard fan or never heard of it, this week's episode has something for you. Let's get into it. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the 11th episode of Podcast Demastered. I'm Chelsea, and I'm joined here with Wade, and today we're talking about a very special video game series that I think holds a very special place in both of our hearts, and that would be Kingdom Hearts.
You got it.
Yes. So, I think to start off, I think this is probably a name that people have probably heard before, Kingdom Hearts, but some people might not know what the games are all about. Do you think it's kind of a complicated series in some ways. Wouldn't you agree?
In some ways, for sure, it is absolutely. It can be seen as a complicated series, like especially from like an outer perspective. Mostly because of like how things are named and the bold-faced lie when it came to, hey, these are side games. They're not side games one bit.
No, you need to know what's going on in those games.
Those are the plots of every Kingdom Hearts game is absolutely important to the continuing story. And the creator of Kingdom Hearts used to lie to us all the time and say, hey, no, this is nothing. And then you'd get Kingdom Hearts 2. Oh crap, Chain of Memories was extremely important. And then you get Kingdom Hearts 3 and the 8 games that came between 2 and 3. Nope, those are extremely important too. You missed out on 10 years of action there?
Yeah, and I think they made it difficult for people too, because they're like, hey, let's release it on like every single system out there, so you have to buy all the game systems in order to know what's going on in the series.
My least favorite part of Kingdom Hearts was waiting to find out what system the next game was going to be on. And I give kudos to Nomura for doing that, because his team was just curious and they wanted to know how the hardware for all of these different consoles works, and they felt it would make them better designers, which I guess that's a fair point. But then you got to go buy all the consoles to play the games.
That's very true. Well, I think before we talk about some of those games on all the different consoles, maybe we should go back to kind of a challenge per se. Can we both describe the Kingdom Hearts series in a sentence or two to our listeners?
What a challenge that is.
Yes.
Do you have a good example?
I mean, I can share mine first if you want.
Yes, please.
Okay. Here's my sentence. A kid named Sora comes into possession of a keyblade that is both a weapon and a literal key, and with the help of Disney and Final Fantasy characters, love and friendship takes down the darkness.
Oh man, I think you kind of nailed it.
I worked a little bit on that.
Yep. Nope. I don't think I can beat that.
Okay.
I would say something. Man continuously assaults older gentlemen with giant key and power of friendship. I like that one.
That makes it a little darker. Yeah. But yes.
Yours was far better.
I did find out on Square Enix's website what they say about Kingdom Hearts.
Do they have a sentence or two explanation?
Yeah, they do. I think they broke it down into a couple sentences. It's more than one, but
okay.
So I could share that.
Go ahead.
So, Kingdom Hearts is the story of light overcoming darkness with the power of friendship. Kingdom Hearts is a series of action role-playing games. Developed by Square Enix. Let's see, that part doesn't. Okay, Kingdom Hearts follows the main protagonist, Sora, a Keyblade wielder, as he travels to many Disney worlds with Donald and Goofy to stop the Heartless invasion by sealing each world's keyhole and restore peace to the realms.
Well, that's not bad either.
Nope, that's not too bad. But definitely makes people go, what's a Heartless? Worlds? What?
That's just the beginning, folks.
Yes, it is.
That's why there are 10 games.
At least, I think.
At least, yeah.
So, actually, that's a question. Have you played all the games?
I have played all the games and all the original forms of the games. On top of that,
Wow. I will admit I have not played them all. I, for example, have not played Dream Drop Distance. That was one of those because I did
oh,
not.
you haven't played Dream Drop Distance?
No, that came out on the
Oh snap!
3DS, right?
It did.
Yeah, I never owned one of those, so.
Well, it's in the 2.8 collection as well now, the remastered version.
Yes. Okay, I do have that, but I haven't gotten around to playing it, so it's
Oh,
definitely on
it's
the
really
list.
good. It's like it's kind of the lead up into 3. Um, like the ending is the like in 3 you get the 2.9 prologue backhanded comment. Um,
Yes.
Dream Drop Distance kind of ends there. Like when they're out in space and Sora's like, I don't know where to go. That's kind of where Dream Drop Distance ends.
Okay.
But it's really, really good. It's a little darker and even a little more complex than some of the other stories. They did a good job with that, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, so definitely on my list to play, and yeah, I did read a little bit about that game before I started playing Kingdom Hearts 3 because I wanted to know
That's
as much
a
as
good
possible
idea.
before diving in and not knowing what in the world was going on. So,
Oh yeah, were you curious as to like why all the past organization members were coming back?
a
Things
little
like
bit,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was definitely good to read up a little bit, but that's definitely a game I want to play, experience, and know how the story actually unfolds in that game.
It's a good one. I mean you get to play as Sora and Riku equally in it, so that's always nice.
Yeah, can't go wrong with that.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah. Well, so I think we can, people know that we're sharing a lot of love about Kingdom Hearts. So when were you first introduced to Kingdom Hearts?
Honestly, I think the first time I was introduced to Kingdom Hearts, I think it was actually the year it came out. It's that 2002.
I believe so.
And my friend got it for Christmas, and a friend that I used to spend a lot of weekends with. And in one of those mornings, we woke up, and he's just like, "Oh, hey, I got this game. Let's play this game." And I was like, "Okay." He's like, "We got to listen to the song first." And I was like, "The song." So of
Ooh.
course he boots up the game, and you get the first sequence. And of course I immediately fell in love with this thing that I didn't know what it was, outside of being Final Fantasy and Kingdom or in Disney. But I myself didn't get it until like a year later. I think when I got a PlayStation 2 for Christmas, with the greatest hits version of Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy X.
Nice.
But my poor mom, she didn't know that I needed a memory card,
Oh no.
and so I'd have to start either of the two games up and leave my PlayStation on for days. Although, like in Kingdom Hearts, the farthest I could get without having to shut my PlayStation off was like maybe Wonderland. Maybe Wonderland. So that was my start.
It definitely sounds like a little bit of a challenge at the beginning.
Oh my gosh.
I would be worried about like power outages and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's true. Yeah, I was first introduced to Kingdom Hearts by a friend as well. It was one of my neighbors that lived across the street, and I would always hang out with him, and he would always have some new video game he was playing, and I like one day came over and watched him play, and I was like, "What is this game? I see Disney characters." And it's not just like a basic side-scrolling game or a game based off of one
Not
of
like
their
some
movies.
silly kind of game. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I need to know what this game is. And I was like, oh, it's Kingdom Hearts? How interesting. And then, like, also mentioning they had Final Fantasy characters, which I wasn't, at the time, I didn't really know a lot about Final Fantasy, but it was intriguing because I was like, oh, Disney characters, I'm sold. But yeah, I didn't play the game myself until a couple of years later when I had a PS2 of my own. And I think I also bought a Chain of Memories around that time too. whenever
We
that came out.
talking like original Game Boy Advance?
Yes, I did play.
Oh man.
I played that all the way through on there, but I do also have the PS2 version, and I still have those PS2 copies.
Oh, same, same.
Yeah.
I remember getting Chain of Memories. I want to say it wasn't until the end of middle school. It was like a year or two after it came out, I'm pretty sure. But we were on a trip. Like, I don't know if it was like a church trip or a school trip. We went to a mall and we went to some video game store and they had it like in box, brand new still. Because Game Boy Advance, they were still a thing then. And I was just like, oh, I gotta have that. And I remember like I had my Game Boy Advance with me and I played that sucker like the rest of the trip. Oops.
Nice. That one was addictive. It was definitely weird though, because it was that like card battle almost thing, and I was almost a little like put off by that because I was like, oh, it's not like playing on the console. What's this? But I'm like, but it's Kingdom Hearts. I wonder if there's something like, what is up with this story? I was just curious about it then, and
because it's just a side story, right?
Yeah. Right. At the time. Like, oh, interesting. And then, yeah, when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out and stuff, it's like,
These organization jamokes aren't going to be around for too long. It's fine.
Yep. Oh, man. But I remember actually rolling credits on the Game Boy Advance game, and it actually had like almost like 3D models of the characters at the end, and like kind of almost like cutscenes. And I was like, where was this for the game? I guess they couldn't put all that into the like the graphics and stuff in the.
Man, wasn't watching the cutscenes in that game like ridiculous though for a Game Boy Advance?
Yes.
Made it look like the PS2 graphics. I didn't have voice acting. The scenes didn't have it, but it's just like, oh my god, I remember beating that game like over and over and over again just to watch the dang cutscenes at the end.
Yeah, definitely impressive for a Game Boy Advance. Yeah. Oh man, it's just interesting. Yeah, how the games like add like slightly different mechanics, but it's still like kind of the same thing. Like at each like game that comes out. Because I remember I bought a PSP specifically for Birth by Sleep.
Same. Sigh. Same.
Yes. Which I enjoyed that game, but I had no idea what the purpose of that game was when I played it.
Oh yeah, because I mean they were like, oh, this is the prequel to Kingdom Hearts, and everybody's like, oh, okay, it can't be that important. Wrong.
Very, very important.
Very wrong.
Yeah.
And I hope, to you all listening, and if you haven't played Kingdom Hearts and you've always been kind of curious, I hope that none of this is intimidating. Like, there's a lot of games to play, but there are a lot of great games. They're not a slog. It's not anything you have to like feel like you're killing yourself just to get through. They're all a good time.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I definitely think it's hard for people to want to commit to that many games.
For sure. Yeah. I feel like that's the great thing about Kingdom Hearts, though, because like they can take a lot of time, or they don't have to take a lot of time. You don't feel the need to like blow through it really fast. Like there's just plenty of stuff to enjoy. It's all pretty chill. It's not really demanding, I don't feel, so.
Yeah, I definitely agree that it's fun. And I also think, too, that each game does have its own, like, self-contained story.
Yeah.
So you could just enjoy that and be a little confused, or not confused if you played the other games to understand some of the other things going on in the background. But, yeah.
I mean, I don't think either of us would suggest playing Kingdom Hearts 1 and then 2 and then 3. Because while they are the number games, there are a lot of things that happen in between those games that are like full 30-40 hour games. And in between 2 and 3 specifically, there's a bunch of games in between that that really should be numbered titles.
Yeah.
But hey, here we are.
Yes. Here we are with a million games under our belts in a series that is not quite yet finished.
Nope. Well, we got the major story out of the way.
Yes, that's true.
Something new starting up, so that's at least some kind of relief.
What, that took like 20 years in the making? Close.
Just about.
Yeah. I guess,
I
well,
think is it next year that is the 20th anniversary?
yeah, I think that would be correct. Yeah, because if it
Oh
was...
crap, yeah.
Yeah,
2022.
Yeah. But yeah, so it was almost between the first and the third game, because we said the first one came out in 2002 and the third game came out, I guess, was it 2019 or 2018?
The third game was I think it was
Okay,
18.
2018.
Oh, God.
I know, I can't remember. But still, that's...
That feels like a long time ago already.
Oh no, it was 2019. Okay.
And then last year was the DLC. Mm-hmm. Last July or January, I think, like a year after the game came out.
But still, it's just funny if people hear like, oh, the first game came out in 2002 and the third game came out, well, third, air quotes, in 2019. Yeah, this series has been around for a long time. Which I have not played the DLC on that. I didn't want to spend the extra money.
Oh, no. Oh, man. Oh, it's really, really good. Oh, no.
Don't be disappointed in me.
Oh, I'm not. I'm more like you get to go and live that still. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. I get to
It'll go on
experience it.
sale. When it goes on sale, you need to go pick that sucker up.
Okay. I'll keep an eye out on that. But let's see. I guess, this is such a huge series, so many games, so many different characters. Do you have any favorite characters?
Favorite characters. I mean, it's hard not to like the main character, Sora. Mm-hmm. He's such a doof.
Yeah.
He's just your happy little boy.
He's positive. Yeah.
And now I'll warn you, in Dream Drop Distance, he is a little stupid.
Well, he is a little dumb kind of throughout the whole series.
He is. I mean, in this game, though, in that game, they take him to, like, a whole new level. Oh. He's like, what? Like, 85 times in that game. Like, he doesn't, who are you? Like, he doesn't know what's going on.
Oh, no, I need to keep a counter going. See how many times he says that.
But, I mean, outside of Sora, though, I don't know, they're if we're just talking, like, the Keyblade wielders... there really isn't anybody I don't like, although Terra's not at the top of the list.
That's fine.
He's stupid in his own ways. But he's not cute because he's stupid.
No,
unlike
far from it. This is turn off.
He ruins everything because he's stupid. Mm-hmm. And if you love Terra, you can come at me. I don't care. I'll fight. It's fine.
I'll fight too. I don't like him.
Although, I mean, even the villains, though, I love a whole bunch of the villains, too. It's hard to pick. It's hard to pick just a few, even.
I'm a fan of Riku. I've always liked him, his little dark, edgy side to him. I like the bad boy.
He was prime characterization for when that game came out.
Yep. And then, well, because, like I said, I think it's been established I'm a very big Disney fan, even though, just because I'm a Disney fan doesn't mean I have to love every single Disney thing, but I love most of them. And of course, at the top of my list of favorite characters is, at least in Kingdom Hearts, is King Mickey. I love him and his little...
King Mickey.
Yeah. His little black robe and his Keyblade.
Man, talk about edgy.
Yes.
They go to town making Mickey so dark and edgy, and it's just the greatest thing in the world.
It is.
Folks think like how Yoda fights in Star Wars. That's how Mickey fights in Kingdom Hearts.
That is accurate. Very accurate. And then him teaming up with Riku. I mean, come on. Two of my favorite characters.
For sure.
Can't go wrong with that. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite world? There's so many to pick from.
I know. I think one of them that stands out the most to me is probably from Kingdom Hearts 3, the Toy Story world.
Oh yes.
I think the detail they put into that, like, there's so much like amazing detail. And one of my favorite things about the Kingdom Hearts series is that depending on the world Sora goes to explore, or whoever character is the main character at the time, well, mostly Sora though, like he'll kind of his appearance will kind of change to match that world. So in the Toy Story world, he becomes kind of looks like a toy. So that's kind of funny, but I love
his little action figure self.
Yes. That part's goofy, but I love, yeah, in Kingdom Hearts 3, and like when you go to is it actually a mall, I think technically, or something, that
the toy store.
The toy store. I love the different levels, and like there's like whole stories behind like each of those little stores and the toys for sale at each one and the enemies you fight.
For sure.
And there's even like little gags. I don't know if you noticed, when you're on like one of the levels, there's a helium like machine or whatever for like the blowing up balloons for the kids.
And you can like attack the helium tank, and the characters will like inhale it and they start talking and
the part, it's just that little extra part just adds to that game.
Well, there's so many parts in Kingdom Hearts 3 where like the characters will interact with like their environments and stuff. And it was like going through the game, that game for the first time, it was those moments where I made sure I covered every inch of those maps.
Oh yes.
Because I didn't want to miss anything. It was like all of the things with Rapunzel in her world. Like when she's out and about for the first time out of her tower, like there are so many things that you can do with her, that she reacts to, like using magic on different enemies or surfaces, splashing each other in the water. There's so many things that just become so comical in nature.
I agree. But I mean, there's so many worlds I think to love. Like, I really think they did a wonderful job with Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, I personally think it was worth the wait, and I enjoyed the different like worlds they came, like at the Monsters Inc. one, or Monstropolis, I guess technically. Seeing Sora as a monster and stuff though. Oh man, silly. But I like a lot of the worlds in Kingdom Hearts 2 as well.
Oh, they have 2 has some wonderful worlds. I really like I love the Nightmare Before Christmas world in Kingdom Hearts 2. More so than the first game, because you also get to go to Christmas Town. And if you're playing the final mix version of the game, then Sora gets his like Black Santa costume when he switches over to Christmas Town, which I just love.
Nice. That. I like seeing those. I've seen those like pictures and stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of those. That's really cool. So, do you have any other favorite worlds?
It's not a Disney world, but like the Hollow Bastion, Radiant Garden worlds, I always love getting to go there. As an original world, it's just so cool. Vibing around Twilight Town. There we go.
I like Twilight Town.
Just so relaxing all the time.
Yeah, they really make those worlds magical in a way.
They do. Now, having said that, do you have any worlds that you do not like?
I don't know. I think it's because most of the games have it. At least I feel like most of the games have it. Wonderland. I just get kind of tired going to Wonderland.
No, for sure. Every time I replay one, and it's the first world, and I'm just like, oh my god, here we go. Let's just get through this. It's just, there's just too much goofy, you have to play by Wonderland's rules while you're in Wonderland. And I'm just like, no, we got things to do. Let's go. Give me my stuff.
Speaking that reminds me of, speaking of a really goofy world, I think it's Kingdom Hearts 2. It's where you're in the Little Mermaid world, so you're under the sea.
Oh my god.
The songs, little mini games.
I mean, I'm one for a good music rhythm game, but that is not what those are.
I feel like I played those ones a lot. Like, I think some of those lyrics are still stuck on my head.
Dance and play. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun.
And then like
Ah,
the battle with Ursula, like
that song was kind of cool. If not a
yeah.
little cheesy, but it's kind of
No,
cool.
it was cool. I like yeah. It just yeah, this game has a little bit of everything with like gameplay wise.
Hmm. No, and I know for in 3, I know a lot of people have issues with the frozen world.
Mm.
I mean, it's a lot of snow. You're on a snowy mountain. It's just how it is. But I really enjoyed that world, even though I know a lot of people didn't.
I mean, I initially enjoyed it because I was like, Frozen, yes.
Of course, right?
Yeah. It's kind of a really dark world, in my opinion, especially like when you're going through like the whole other like portal area. That's like, I don't even know what that part's called. Where
Like when you're in the ice castle.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, it totally changes the vibe like you get from like Disney's Frozen. But I definitely got lost a lot in that world. I feel
Yeah,
like
that world is kind of easy to get lost. There's just a lot of up and down.
yeah, that part was a little frustrating for me about the world,
Yeah.
just because I'm like, I can never navigate things very well. I'm like, I don't understand the map.
But then you get to watch Elsa sing "Let It Go," and it's okay.
In its entirety, yes.
I was at first when I saw that they did that. I think I saw it on YouTube like a couple days before the game came out. And I was just like, they did not put this whole song sequence into the game. And then when I was playing the game and I got to the part, and I realized there's a reason why they wanted to do it. Because they were flexing. Because, like Pixar helped them with a lot of like these major properties. They worked with the Square team in developing a lot of the stuff for a bunch of the worlds, and Disney Animation helped with the Frozen specifically. Like that whole scene where she's singing is like frame for frame from the movie, and it
Yes.
looks like it's from the movie, but it's a cutscene in a game.
Yeah. It's pretty impressive.
Crazy. Mm.
Yeah.
I
thought
mean,
it was,
you throw Sora in there, but
well, that makes it Kingdom Hearts.
if Sora's not sticking his nose into everybody's business, then it's not Kingdom Hearts.
So true. Yeah. I remember seeing that and I was like, wait, what? They're actually doing the whole song?
The
This is
whole
wild.
dang
I'm like,
song.
oh my gosh.
Just put your controller down and let it happen. Don't you dare skip that scene.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, I definitely saved that video clip.
Excellent.
Yup. Oh. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any other worlds that. Oh, well, I don't really care for the Pride Lands in Kingdom Hearts 2. Just the whole lion battle stuff. I'm just like, nah, it's too big.
It was creative, but
It
yeah,
was. It kind of just you got wore out on it pretty quick.
Tron was kind of cool, I thought.
Tron is something I was not expecting to see in a Kingdom Hearts game. Oh, well, in Dream Drop Distance, they have Tron. Oh no, the second one, Legacy. Tron Legacy. That's not it.
Well, that's the second game. Or
Is it?
second movie, I mean.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's in there.
Oh, okay.
So you get to see Olivia Munn, I guess, in a Kingdom Hearts game. That's neat, I guess.
Yeah. I guess. Well, because I think the Tron based off of the first movie, doesn't that appear in at least 2 of the games?
Well,
least?
for sure in the second game.
I'm trying to think.
Man.
I don't remember. I thought I remember seeing it briefly in another game, but I don't know if it was like the mobile game or I don't know.
I can't remember either. That's a great question.
Yeah, because I'm like I picture this like gameplay, and I'm like it doesn't seem like it was 2, but I don't know. But I don't know. It's kind of fun. The whole like style of it is cool, and That's what another part I love about this. Like, the characters have that like specific animation style, but then how they choose to specifically match that, like depending on the world they're in. Like not even just like Sora transforming, but the whole like animated style. Like even I don't even know which I could think of, but I also think it's funny. Oh, Winnie the Pooh, good the 100-acre wood.
You know, people always bash on having the 100-acre wood in the Kingdom Hearts games, but I always love it. I've never not liked it. It's always so good.
It just gives you like a time to take a little bit of a break and just enjoy some like happy good time.
Still, here's some really sweet cutscenes. Here's some silly mini games and a ton of items. You go there and your inventory is going to get filled up. So there's that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just I find all that charming. So
me too. I love it. He gets his, and so if you haven't played the games, the physical book of 100-acre wood exists within the game, and the poor pages always get torn out, which causes like issues in the world of 100-acre wood, if you could imagine. So you have to go and collect the pages from the other worlds, bring them back, and fix Pooh's poor world, and in the second game he forgets about you. Tragic.
So sad. But they still have a good time.
Of course.
Yes. Speaking of a book that reminded me, did you ever read, like, they had, like, companion, like, manga to go with the games? I think it was specifically with Chain of Memories.
So they have manga for the original game, Chain of Memories 2, 358 over 2 days, and they're currently releasing 3.
Okay.
And I have all of them.
Okay. I shouldn't be surprised. I was like, I did collect them, yeah, a while ago, but I think I specifically only had like the Chain of Memories one.
I love the Chain of Memories one. It's so good.
Definitely.
And did you see the how like they a little bit ago they started making the novels, the actual novels?
No, apparently I missed that.
Well, now this was years ago in Japan. They started releasing Kingdom Hearts novels based off the games, which just followed the games, but it had like little extra tidbits, like fun facts and stuff throughout the books, like stuff they don't talk about in the game with the lore and stuff. And I want to say every single game has a novel. Oh. I think each one has like 2. I don't remember, but like a month ago they announced a collector's edition of all of these novels, and from what it looks like, it's one giant hardback book that has every single novel in it.
Wow.
We're not really proud of ourselves, but we pre-ordered it. It's like $125, I think.
Oh man.
It's stupid, but we went for it.
I don't know, that sounds fun though. But so I mean I'm guessing it follows pretty closely with the games, so I guess would it be good for those who don't want to spend all that time playing video games and would rather read about it?
If you're only interested in the lore, yeah, I mean that could work.
Yeah. Even though I'd say both of us recommend playing the games.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like I say that I haven't read the novels before, and I don't own any of them currently, which is why we went ahead and got like the collector's edition. Like if ever a day comes and they release a collector's edition of the manga, I will cry because I already own all of the manga, and I will spend the damn money to get the collector's edition.
No, don't do that.
Well, Kingdom Hearts needs to not do that, and I won't have to forcibly cross that bridge, I guess. I don't know. Their decision.
Oh man. It's true. Yeah, that just reminds me of like other Kingdom Hearts like memorabilia I have. I think I have a couple like postcards actually. They were I think they came with 358 over 2. So
From like GameStop?
yeah.
Oh my god, I still have those too.
So funny.
That was a long time ago.
I know. So funny story about that was I was like, "Oh, that game just came out. I want to get that." I didn't pre-order it. So I went to my local GameStop and they were like, "We still have all this stuff from the pre-orders. Like you can get the poster and stuff with the game." And I'm like, "Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please. I'll take it all. That's fine." So yeah, I still have the poster too. It's not hanging up anywhere right now, but I do have that and I have the postcards and they're just sitting in my drawer right now.
Now, I think I also got the poster, but my poster was very well loved, and I don't think is with us anymore. I think that was my freshman year of college when that game came out. So, like a college kid, I smacked that sucker up on the wall.
Nice.
That was 10, 12 years ago. Excuse me.
Oh no. So long
Gross.
ago.
Yeah.
Well, one of my very prized Kingdom Hearts possessions is the soundtrack
No.
for Kingdom Hearts 1.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So, being such a big music-y person, like, it's how I pay my bills. The Kingdom Hearts soundtracks are actually, like, the main thing I would say that I don't own. And I don't know why. It was probably the price of them, to be fair, but...
Yeah. I also think they're kind of hard to find. At least
They kind
one
of
time
are,
ago they
yes.
were. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, so... Yeah, I only have the first one. I wasn't able to get the second one, because the second one... I wanted those silly songs from the Little Mermaid world they sang, but I wanted it in English. Yeah. But they only had the Japanese version when I looked at it previously, so I never got it.
Yeah, it's weird, like the way that they do the soundtrack sometimes. Mm-hmm. I think if you look at the English version, do you have the English version of the soundtrack there?
Yes, I do for the first.
Does that have Simple and Clean on it?
Yes, it does.
If you go and try to buy the digital version of that, like on iTunes, it does not have Simple and Clean on it.
Really?
Because of it was like rights with the song at the time. Something like that. I can't really remember. Which is, I think that's why it went on one of Utada's English albums. Her second English album.
That makes sense.
All the Kingdom Hearts songs at the time. All 2 of them. All 2 of them.
But very memorable. Very amazing.
Always.
Yes. I do absolutely love the music in the games. Like, I am a huge fan of the music.
Do you have a favorite world music? Here's the toughie.
Oh my gosh, that is so tough.
It is completely not a fair question, I understand.
No, it's not really. I mean, I feel like some of them are like so iconic though, like Destiny Islands, like that music.
For sure.
And I don't know. I pretty much love it all. Probably not Wonderland as much, but
maybe that's why I don't like that one so much. The damn music.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that comes to mind, I remember when Birth by Sleep came out. And I think it's the world, was it Enchanted Dominion? Is that Sleeping Beauty's world?
I think that sounds
right. Does that sound right?
Mm-hmm.
The music for that world, I remember sitting there for like 15 minutes when I got there. Just because, like, the music had me. It was like this beautiful, I think it was an oboe that was playing, like, the melody of the music. And I'm just sitting there just like, this is what I just spent $40 on, yes.
I mean, that's the way to do it, yeah. I think it's amazing that all the worlds have, like, their own music that you could just listen to it.
Mm-hmm. And, like, in a lot of the cases, most of the themes for the worlds are based off of, like, previous Disney tracks, from the movies. But not all of it. A lot of it is original, like the battle themes, they tend to be original. Mm-hmm. But every world has its own battle theme, its overworld theme, everything.
So many layers.
There's so many tracks in each specific game. And then that's not even touching like the original Kingdom Hearts music. I'm just really just talking about the Disney stuff. And then you look at like the character themes, like the major boss battle themes, like that stuff is so orchestrated and so beautiful. Like Yoko Shimomura is a goddess.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
If you played, let's see, what other games has she done? If you played Final Fantasy 15, she did all the tracks for that. Wow. I remember like starting 15 and I was like, yep, this music is absolutely Kingdom Hearts. Yep, there we go.
Nice.
She's done quite a bunch of like pretty prolific stuff. And now, of course, none of it's really coming to mind. She does a lot of Square stuff these days, but before she did Kingdom Hearts, she had quite a lot going for her even then.
Oh, wow. But yeah, definitely, I mean, the music is incredible. And, you know, it's not even just like this music that we're talking about, the theme music for All the Worlds. I think we need to talk about like theme songs or the opening songs for these games.
The major pieces. Are we ready?
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Oh god. Here we go. Yep. So
dun, 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 dun.
Oh my god. So people, if you're listening, you need to go to YouTube. You just need to search for original Kingdom Hearts trailer. And you will recognize the song that plays. Of course, being Simple and Clean by Utada Hikaru. If you have listened to our podcast before, you've probably heard Chelsea or I bring her up just quietly on the side here and there. But I have to be careful here because this is a well that will explode if I'm not focused.
I think we should explode a little bit. People need to know. People need to know about her. She is an icon.
She truly, truly is. I mean, not even in Kingdom Hearts. We're not talking like anime music, which she doesn't really do. Just everything.
She is the queen of J-pop and more.
Absolutely is. She like it's hard to compare her to anybody else. Because I've never met another artist that goes about things the way that she does. Because she's not like a pop star. You know, she doesn't go out and she doesn't do like idol. Like in Japan, they have like idols. She's never been an idol. She doesn't. And this is how I explain it to my friends. She doesn't sell her music with her face or her body. You know, she releases music and you don't really get like public appearances by her. She doesn't go on TV so much, especially in the last 10-ish years. And perform live. Concerts and tours are years and years and years in between. To me, she really is like the truest essence of a musician where, you know, she puts music out. She experiments. She finds the flavors and the sounds that she likes. She creates something with it, and then she moves on to the next thing. Like she's already ready to go and broaden her horizons even more.
That was said beautifully.
I can go.
Yeah,
I can go for a long time.
Yeah. She's incredibly talented, and she has albums both in Japanese and in English. And it's definitely something, so like when I first heard, Simple and Clean, I was like, who is this artist? I'm really curious about this. And then I learned that there are Japanese versions of some of those songs, especially like the Kingdom Hearts songs. And I'm like, oh, J-pop, very interesting. And then I just got sucked in, and I tried to listen to all of her albums and find them anywhere I could.
Which, you know, back in the day, that was really hard to do.
Yes.
We didn't have fancy iTunes to go and dig stuff up on. I remember I downloaded, I think it was Simple and Clean and maybe Hikari, you know, the Japanese version. illegally as we had to do. And with that came a track off of her third album called Tokyo Nights. And I was like, whoa, what is this? And I listened to that and I was like, that's really, really cool. Which led me to the rest of her third album, Deep River. And then that was either a little before or a little after her fourth album, Ultra Blue, came out. And I remember my mom asking for a Christmas list that year, and I put one thing on it. I wrote down Utada Hikaru, Ultra Blue. And of course I had to put like Japanese CD or something next to it so they like knew what that was. But I got it. I got it for Christmas that year with a nice new pair of headphones. And the second like that plastic was off, I had it in my Walkman because we're old. And the rest of Christmas Day, I just listened to that album just start to finish, over and over and over again.
Amazing. Would you say, is that your favorite album of hers?
It's really difficult to say. I think maybe if I'm just looking at nostalgia, I think maybe it might be my favorite just because that was my first like album of hers that I owned. It still has so many tracks on it to this day that just get me so good. But she doesn't have a bad album either. So it's really hard. I can't play the favorites game when it comes to her.
Yeah. I think the one that sticks with me the most, it's because I've listened to it a ton, is Heart Station.
Heart Station.
Love that album.
Do you have a favorite track?
Oh gosh. I don't know. Because there's so many. It really depends on my mood.
I understand.
I don't know. I guess I'm a sucker for Prisoner of Love.
Having said that, did you see the drama, like the Japanese drama that was used as a theme in?
No.
That's the only time that I've ever watched a Japanese drama was that I watched it. I think it's called like Last Friends or something like that.
Okay.
But it's old now, of course, and I don't know if I'm sure you can dig it up somewhere online. But it actually is really good. It's about like a girl who's in an abusive relationship with her, like businessman boyfriend, and her best friend, who is secretly a lesbian, is in love with her. But then like their third friend, like they all like kind of move in with a bunch of people, and the third friend, who everybody thinks is gay, is actually in love with the lesbian. But then the girl, like the other girl who's in the like the abusive relationship, ends up kind of falling in love with the boy. So there's like this really weird love triangle going on. But the story is more than that. It goes into a lot of like dark places. But like hearing Prisoner of Love at the beginning and at the end of each of those was just like icing on the cake. Like I went to that show for Prisoner of Love, but I stayed for the show. I actually got really hooked on it.
Wow. Yeah. Sounds very interesting. And there are a lot of her tracks that are definitely at the top of my list, but yeah, that's probably my favorite album, and so many good tracks, and so many good songs that aren't even on that album, of course. So
like she's got her new one that'll be coming out at some point whenever she gets around to announcing it. See, this is the thing with Utada. She takes everything at her own pace. I don't think she knows what deadlines really are. She could release a single and then an album may not come out for like another 2 years.
Yeah, at least.
But
yeah. I mean, technically, didn't she like quote retire like almost 10 years ago at this point?
Well,
or on a hiatus or whatever.
Yeah, she went on an indefinite hiatus.
Yes.
I think that was in like 2010. 10, yeah.
It was.
In 2010, she went on an indefinite hiatus because she wanted to go out and live. Or her exact wording, I think, was that she wanted genuine human experiences. because she got her start when she was like 15, 16 to famous musician parents. So she didn't ever know what normal was, but she got it. She went out, got married,
Had a family. Yeah.
had a baby, all under the radar too. Like nobody knew about any of this for years. Well, her mom unfortunately killed herself a couple years into her hiatus, which was not quiet because her mom is a very prolific Japanese musician as well. But it wasn't until 2016. I'm pretty sure it was 16 when she came back.
Sounds about right. Yeah. With a couple songs, or was that with an album?
Well, she released a couple singles, and then it was, and I remember the date because of other issues, but September 27th was when her first album in 7-8 years came out.
Yes.
Yeah. I think there was a lot of issues at school involving like another teacher, and I had to take over that role for the year, and I had just found out like at 5 p.m. that day, and I think it was 9:30 I got in my car finally to make my 45-minute commute back home. And this was the day before that album was set to come out, and I get in my car and I'm just so overwhelmed, and like I'm pretty like emotional as well, and I look at my phone and I get a little notification from iTunes. It's like, your album Phantom is ready to play. And I just sat there and I hit the play button, and like track 1, I think that's Michi, and just that was the end of that for me. So that I think I'll probably always remember.
Light at the end of the tunnel there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What a way, yes. Have Utada in your life.
Yeah, Utada is one of the major reasons that I became a band director. It really influenced my love for music and stuff like that. So, she sits up there.
Nice. Yeah, definitely. Like we said, an icon, and it's just that extra special, like the icing on top with Kingdom Hearts, to have her involved in that.
Right. Well, and she's probably not going to be involved with Kingdom Hearts much anymore. Probably. But we'll see.
Yeah.
You never know.
But
Nomura really likes her. So.
Yes. She's brought us so many great little gems with Kingdom Hearts, so we can always hope for more, but we can enjoy what we have.
Right. Of course.
Yes. Oh, I don't know, but yeah, we could always go on and on about that. About Utada.
It's not difficult. Maybe we'll have another show someday where we just go for it.
Just devote it all to her. Yes. Oh man, that would be great.
Let's hope so.
Another thing, I guess, a little other tidbit about Kingdom Hearts is that I think it's kind of random. There's just some iconic like foods the game has.
It's true though. It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's probably just because we're a bunch of nerds. And we nerds of a series tend to flock to like even the little stuff.
Yes.
But like, what do they got, Chelsea?
Well, is it Paupu?
Yep,
is that right?
You got it.
The Paupu fruit, which is not a real fruit, but it's a big component of the game. And I feel like food, which is funny because I think in real life too, but also in the game, it's just like, it's that like sharing of that like friendship that you share through food, like the power of friendship. And the Paupu fruit, it's definitely very iconic in the first game. And it's like, I think it's funny because isn't it basically like Sora and Riku are like, I want to share that with Kairi. Well, you'll have to beat me to do it or whatever.
Yeah, so like, the symbolism behind the Paupu fruit is that like two people who share a Paopu fruit together are basically like going to be a part of each other's lives for forever.
That's right.
And so yeah, so Sora and Riku they spend the first part of the game fighting with each other over who's going to share it with poor Kairi.
Oh,
Because
Kyrie,
she's got to put up with both of them.
she's been through so much.
Well, so much and yet not enough at the same time. Because the man who created her refuses to give her proper screen time.
Mm-hmm. That's very true. We could go into that.
She finally gets her own game, and it's a music rhythm game.
Oh, yes. But, so the Paopu fruit, I would say, it's definitely shaped like a star, and I think it's kind of almost like, I don't know if it's taste or like people like kind of like say like a real life example is star fruit, I think, or like that's similar to be that. I don't know, but I always thought it would be cool if that was a real fruit.
I think we
Share with
always
my
wanted
friends.
it to be,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
And you
And
know,
I'd-
after the first game, we don't really see the Paopu like a whole lot anymore. But just like the symbolism, we have things left and right that are shaped like Paopu fruit and the thalassa shells. I think is that what like Kairi makes like her little charm out
Yeah.
of.
yes, the
Yeah.
charm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a
So
running symbolism throughout the whole series.
And I would say, wait, there's another one too that I'd say is pretty symbolic.
Oh, probably maybe more important. Or not important, but maybe more popular.
Yes, I
Because
would
it's a
definitely
real
agree.
thing.
Yes, it is. Let's talk about it.
So we got sea salt ice cream.
Yes. Which have you ever tried, made, or like slash made it or anything?
We tried to make it one time actually. We made it the night before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out.
Nice.
And we got it out like at I don't know, God, midnight, 11 o'clock, whatever, on a flippin' school night, to enjoy it while we started the game.
Nice. And how was it?
Oh, it was fine. I'm sure we messed up the recipe at some point. But we enjoyed it.
Yeah. I have never tried it, but it's definitely something I want to, and I've been looking at recipes, and so maybe I'll make it this week or something.
If you find a good recipe that you end up liking, let me know.
Yes.
Because you know everybody's got their own version, so it's all just kind of depending on what you're doing, I guess.
Yeah, and what you like and how much of everything. Yeah, so definitely I will take a look and I'll definitely let you know if I find anything cool about it. Which, do you know where the sea salt ice cream originated from? Like,
Wasn't
where-
it Disney World?
Yeah, Tokyo. Disney. Yeah, that's where you can buy it, and that's what the inspiration was to add it to the game.
There we go. That sounds right.
Yep. Like that full circle with that Disney stuff. But yeah, this is definitely an iconic thing in the games. Definitely something that friends share and eat together. Very iconic, sitting on top of the clock tower.
Oh. Typical scene.
Oh yes.
All of 358 over 2 days.
The whole game. That's it.
Right?
That's all you need to see. Yep. Just, good, fun friendship, sharing food together.
And the trauma.
Yes.
Trauma always goes hand in hand in ice cream in Kingdom Hearts.
Yep. Tries to make it make it a little better, but
Never does.
yeah. But they try. That's why they always eat it.
You know, I was always curious, how does Axel always buy all that ice cream? Like, one, he looks sketchy as hell. And he's always buying like 3 or 4 bars at a time. Like, assume from the same person. Like,
Yeah.
how is that person not eventually called the police on him?
Yeah. Also, where does he get all this money from?
For real, like they're always just like, oh, I bought you some ice cream. It's like, you clearly
what?
didn't buy it, but okay.
Maybe the guy who like sells the ice cream is always like, oh no, it's that guy again. He's coming to rob me.
If I give him ice cream, he'll leave me
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah. Please don't hurt me. That's the real scene we need to see at the end of the game. The real
God.
secret ending. We need to see that ice cream purchasing.
Like, I get, like, if Roxas comes up and is buying it, like, that's one thing. But Axel?
No.
There's no way. He's got to be bullying that poor man out of his product.
He'll be like, got it memorized.
God, no. I love how they tried to change his name back to Lee.
Yes.
In 358 over 2... No, oh my God. In Dream Drop Distance, they
Yes.
tried to change his name back to Lee. For story reasons. And he like harps on it the entire game. And then in 3, like, one person calls him Lee, and he's just like, no, it's just Axel.
Yeah,
And I was like, way to go, Square. You made a mess, and now you can't clean it up.
yeah,
Can't
that
go
was
back.
it was kind of weird. I was like, okay.
I bet they'll go back. I bet they'll take Syx and bring him back to Isa or whatever. But like, Axel's just gonna have to be Axel.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you got a fan favorite character, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what happens when everybody knows that name.
I mean, it's what he gets for saying got it memorized all the time.
Exactly.
Got it too memorized.
Now you can't undo it. Oh man. But Kingdom Hearts, what a joy! What a joy of a series that I'm sure has many stories to tell us.
Oh, it's not over yet.
Nope.
I think we're supposed to be getting an announcement at some point next year.
I would hope so.
I think so, because the 20th anniversary is next year, and Nomura said either this year or even last year, even that they've got a bunch of stuff planned for the anniversary, and we know that maybe not Kingdom Hearts 4, but whatever's coming after Melody of Memory should be coming up.
Maybe another side game that's still a main game.
Quote unquote.
Just not called 4.
Like, they might as well just call it 4. That or just drop the numbering system altogether at this point. I don't know.
Oh.
Since they're telling like a new story, I don't know.
That's true. No, they'll go back to like 1.0.
Oh my God.
1 point.
You say that, and that man's gonna do that.
Well, it'll be
He's
1.01.
Oh my God, no. Like -1.
Yes. We're going backwards this time.
We're going into that other realm, so it's -1 now.
Yeah. Oh man. Do you have any ideas or any guesses or hopes for the future of Kingdom Hearts games?
Man, without going into like spoilerific territory, no. I'm just like where they left us, like with the story of like what happened to Sora at the end of 3. Just the direction that they can go in, I really don't know. Frankly, I don't really think that they're going to be pushing the Disney stuff too much anymore. Like maybe if they have more like major numbered titles, like the big games. But Nomura kind of talked about it last year that like the direction they're heading in, like they don't think they need the Disney stuff so heavily in the game to like push Kingdom Hearts as like its own original concept. And if you're listening and you've never played the games before, Kingdom Hearts, while it began as like a combination Disney Final Fantasy thing, it's not like it has its own story, its complete own story, characters, locations, everything. It's just that you get to travel through Disney worlds. Because worlds exist separately within the Kingdom Hearts universe. So you jump from world to world to world as you're going through the story, and then you land in like Kingdom Hearts specific locations, like the original places, and that's where you get like the major story stuff that happens. But I think Nomura plans on really just kind of centering in on the main Kingdom Hearts story from now on.
I mean,
So...
I mean, that makes sense. And I think there's a lot of original worlds that they've created in these games that really stand up on their own, too.
For
So,
sure, yeah. I mean, I think if they made the decision to just go for it and, like have Disney references and Final Fantasy references, like you see characters and stuff here and there. I think if they go that route, but have like mostly original Kingdom Hearts locations from now on, at least for the story that they're starting to tell right now, because like we're going somewhere that we don't know what it is. Trying to leave spoilers out as much as I can.
Yeah.
I think that's okay, at least as like an experiment to see how it does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, will Disney allow that? I don't know.
I guess we'll wait and see on
They
that.
can be crazy, so I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious what's to come. I definitely think there were definitely lots of hints and stuff, and definitely some elements in Kingdom Hearts 3 that I definitely want to see turned into a game of its own. They really teased a lot of stuff, so.
You got an example there?
Is it Verum Rex? Is that what it's called?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think, yeah, that's where the stuff's gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's where we're headed.
I hope so. I mean, they spent so much time, so much like energy on all that detail, on all that part of the game within the game, within Toy Story.
Oh, crud. I just remembered that you said you haven't played the DLC yet.
Yes.
Have you, like, watched anything from the DLC?
I've read some stuff. Oh, I did watch something, I think.
Did you watch the secret boss battle?
I don't know, it's been a long time. Maybe, but I'll go back and
if you want more Yozora,
okay,
you're gonna get more Yozora.
Okay. Yay. Yeah. That's
he is he's very plot relevant.
Cool.
Why they made like a video game world for him to put inside of the Toy Story world, while fun during the game, and then you find out no, he exists. He's a person, but that's the secret ending of the DLC. So
okay.
So now we need to talk about it, but you got to go do that.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I will make sure to go do that, and yeah. So that's what I'm looking forward to. So apparently, there's already some. Yeah.
Oh, there's drama already for sure. Did you play Melody of Memory?
No, I've just played the demo.
Okay, well that's okay. Well, so in that game there really isn't a whole lot of plot until the end. Like the end, like you go to the final world with Kairi, and then you have like some fight stuff, you have some boss stuff, and then you have like a super long cutscene.
Okay.
And that cutscene is reflective of the end of Kingdom Hearts 3. And the secret ending to the DLC, and the future, like where they are physically, literally headed next.
Okay.
So most of the game is just it's just a bunch of fun, but there is plot relevance to just the end.
Of course, at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I feel like we could always talk so much more about the series, but.
I'm hoping what we did talk about was coherent to people.
Yes, I hope people enjoyed it or learned a little bit of something, or maybe, became interested enough to, either pick the series back up or start it for the first time.
Mm-hmm. And if you're a person who doesn't like to play Kingdom Hearts, just, if you don't like to play video games in general, or you're just kind of daunted by how long it is, hit us up. There are lots of resources online that people have put together to help people enjoy Kingdom Hearts without having to play Kingdom Hearts. And we would be more than happy to point you in a direction for that.
Yes. Definitely sounds like something we could share on our social media.
Absolutely. And where can you find that social media at?
Well, yes, we are specific social media. We are at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at PodDemastered. You can also reach us via email at demasteredpodcast@gmail.com if you have any questions or comments or anything you want to say to us. And You can also leave us a review. We definitely would prefer 5 stars, but hey, be honest.
We're a flexible bunch.
Yes. And if you, leave a review, an actual review, and talk and tell us your favorite game, film, or TV show in the review, maybe we'll talk about it in a future episode.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. And, if you want more episodes like this or all the episodes we bring, definitely like and subscribe wherever you listen to this podcast. And thanks for listening to this week's episode, and we hope you tune in next week.
See ya.
Bye.